Hello. Thanks very much for joining. So I'm going to talk about street addresses, which are something that we use all the time and lots of us don't think that much about. People don't generally think about changing the way we do street addresses. They've been around for quite a while. So I'm going to talk about that in relation to What 3 Words. So I'm Claire. I'm the CCO of What 3 Words. And I'm going to talk about how it's being used in logistics. So maps are complicated. Anyone who has tried to deliver anything anywhere knows how maps can sometimes lead you astray. And maps are improving all the time. We're getting better at how we do maps. The problem is street addresses that we try and use with those maps aren't really changing. So maps don't look like they used to. I'm just about the right age to remember when my parents had those big paper maps in the backseat of the car, and you had to take them out and work out the journey. And then we sort of progressed to printed out instructions from Google Maps. And now we've progressed to GPS devices that tell us where to go. And so that's improving all the time. Those maps get better and better, and our user experience does. But the street addresses that we're using with those maps were designed 300 years ago, and we didn't touch them since. So they were designed for mail delivery. So they were actually pretty great for mail delivery. Street addresses are really good for getting a letter from like a country to another country, and then a sorting centre, and then a postman's bag. That's what they're pretty good for. The problem is, mostly, that's actually not what we're doing with street addresses. We're not sending each other letters. Sometimes they are, and they work well for that. But often what's happening is a street address is getting given to a driver who's using a GPS device and showing up to deliver your pizza, and sometimes phoning you and saying, oh, I can't find the door. And you go, oh, this always happens. Look for the little sushi place. It's upstairs from there. Or a driver in a big truck, and they need to go to a massive warehouse, and they might show up at the wrong side because there's one address for the entire warehouse, but 6 different entrances. So addresses were designed a really long time ago. This is actually an example. This is a flat I used to live in London. It's a massive apartment block, and there are all the different bits of the address. Address line 1 sends you to this door. The postcode sends you to this door. These are all different doors. The name of the apartment complex sends you to this door. And this one doesn't even show up in the address, but is the only place you can actually enter my flat, which is on a totally different bit because it's around the side. And so I regularly get phone calls from drivers who are lost because they can't find which door they're supposed to be going into. This doesn't look like a big problem when you look at it. You're like, okay, it's the right building. But if you're a driver and you're trying to do 25 deliveries that day, it'd be really helpful if you didn't have to spend 5 to 10 minutes per delivery finding the door. Wouldn't it be nice if you could actually find the door and show up in the right place? And this is a problem in rural areas where addresses aren't very good. I'm from the UK. In rural Scotland, we find that addresses can cover whole fields, and there's a few farms that you have to find. But also we see this a lot in urban areas because with massive apartment blocks, offices, warehouses, things like that, you've got masses of buildings with multiple entrances and no way to know exactly where you should be going because you're using that street address that was designed hundreds of years ago. Plus, we're now in the world of voice control. So it's wonderful to be able to speak to your car or your truck if you're a driver, or your watch or your phone. But street addresses and voice are just not good friends. They just don't work well. And that's because we didn't design street addresses when we had even this idea that we would be speaking to our computers. We didn't even know about computers when we designed street addresses. So if you look at an example from New York, if I say, take me to 241st Street, that could be the top one, 241. It could be the second one, 240 space 1. And those are said identically. 241st Street, they are said in exactly the same way. So however perfect Siri or Google or Alexa is, they have no way to differentiate between any of those addresses. That's not their fault. That's the fault of the address, something we designed ages ago. So if we were designing addresses today, we would think about it differently. We would think, okay, we're going to design for human-machine interaction. The addresses need to go into a machine, but they need to come from a human. Okay, so how would that look? Well, wouldn't it be great if there was a universal system that worked the same in every country in the world and you didn't have to have a different system for each country? Wouldn't it be great if it was accurate enough that you could specify an entry point to a warehouse, an entry point to a door? And wouldn't it be great if it was built for voice as well while you're at it? Now, there is a global address system that you could use, and it looks like this. So these are GPS coordinates. These have been around as long as devices have been around, and nobody is going around saying, oh yes, I live at 51.5166801 minus 0, etc. Good luck getting anyone to come to your dinner party if that's the address you give. So we were thinking, what would you do with this to get all of that power of it? The universality works the same in every country in the world. Accuracy, it can give me a specific location. Also, it covers everywhere. You want to go to a picnic in the park, you can use a location that doesn't just have to be a building. So we wanted to take this and we wanted to make it human-friendly. So we made an algorithm, and what it does is we divided the world into 57 trillion squares. Each square is 10 foot on your side of the Atlantic, 3 meters on my side of the Atlantic. Each square is pre-assigned So it's labelled with an address made of 3 words from the dictionary. So this square is one of 57 trillion. Logic says eggshell. It's 57 trillion addresses. Every single one is unique. It's a lovely bit of maths, which is that if you take 40,000 words, you can get 64 trillion combinations. Everyone is pre-assigned. So all of you right now will have an address for your home. You haven't looked it up yet, some of you, but it exists. You'll be able to find an address of your front door. If you live in a 3-meter house, you'll have to use that one, but generally they've got a few addresses you can pick that are near your front door. And behind the scenes, it's just a GPS coordinate. We've just taken this and we've turned it into this. So this string of numbers is now Hyde's fact pancake. So I can remember that the entrance to our office, just like a street address, I can remember it and I can say, the entrance to our office is at Field Count Soap. We've done this in 50 languages so far. So actually, probably possibly closer to 60. I'm so used to saying 50. We're launching all the time. So you can use it in your native language everywhere you go. So the landmass of the world is covered in these squares. If you are going on holiday to Japan, you can use English 3-word addresses. If you're Japanese on holiday in London, you can use Japanese 3-word addresses. So every square in the world pre-assigned with one of these addresses in almost 60 languages now. So that's the way that it works. We have an app, and that's how a lot of people first interact with us. The app is free. You download it, you look up your address. That's what everyone does. They go, what are the words for my front door? Have I got the word pancake on my door? You look it up. Once you've looked it up, it doesn't change. The addresses are pre-assigned, so it's never going to change. You can then use it to communicate with anyone. Someone's coming to visit you. You say the entrance to my flat is at Recent Handed Landed, or the entrance to the shop is at Boyle River Sharp. So everywhere has an address, and you can use it just like a normal street address. We're increasingly built into cars. So Mercedes is one of them, and Mercedes was first, lots of others since, including a Lamborghini, if anyone's got one of those. You can input it in the car navigation system, just like a normal address. So you're saying, take me to Sunroof Mole Jingles, using your voice, because those are very, very easy for words for machines to understand. So you can use it with a car. In delivery world, it's just like a normal address. So it's just like a street address. It's just more accurate. So the way it works in deliveries, you accept it at checkout, or wherever you're getting the address from. If it's an order for a B2B customer, if it's a checkout page, if you're ordering food or a parcel, the what 3 words is entered along with all the other address info. So not instead, it's just an extra line of information at the end. So in this case, purple vouch panel. You then pass it through whatever middleware you use. Metapack's one of our partners. You can pass it through Metapack. Whatever software you're using to get it across to your carrier, whoever's doing that delivery, we then give you access to our code. It converts it to a GPS coordinate. The driver has no idea what 3 words has been used. They just get a pin that tells them where to go. For a change, that is actually going to be the right place, and the driver's not going to get lost. So they're actually going to go to exactly the right place. So this is Boohoo, which is a massive fashion e-commerce site in the UK. They've got the option for the what 3 words here. This is DHL. So we've been working with DHL for a while. We've got some amazing stats on more efficient deliveries with them. You can see here they've got the traditional address, and then they've got what 3 words as well there. Increasingly, we're seeing this get used across the B2B world too. So this isn't just about getting your pizza when it's hot or making your packages go to the right place. So if you think about a big truck, really important that that big truck goes to the right side of the place, because sometimes they can't turn around. If they go to the wrong place, they're going to get stuck. So, and in a B2B delivery, you might have 4 different points. You might have to enter a big complex, do a pickup, leave, go to another complex, do another drop or a pickup. That kind of thing, you really need to know you're getting to the right place. So we've been working with DB Schenker for a while. DB Schenker also bought a stake in our company. So we've been working with them for a while. And actually, as of about half an hour ago, we've announced that we're now coming to Nikola, which is the trucks that you can go and see. They're lovely electric trucks out there. What 3 words is going to be in that to make sure that those truckers can find exactly the right place. They're not going to the wrong place. They're not going to the wrong side of the building. And they can use it perfectly. So all kinds of deliveries. It can be B2B, it can be consumer. It's basically, if you want to know exactly where something should end up, you're going A to B, wouldn't it be really helpful to know where B is? What 3 words can help you find B? And of course, in the future, if we're thinking about autonomy, I think about a ride-hailing journey right now or a delivery. I often have to speak to the driver, right? I have to explain with my voice where the address is, where the door is. If there's no driver, that suddenly becomes even more important. So if you're doing drone deliveries or little delivery robots or autonomous vehicles, you need to know that you're going to exactly the right place. And actually we worked with Royal Mail. Once Royal Mail were doing their first consumer delivery with a drone in the UK, they used what 3 words. It was actually near a lighthouse in Scotland. And they used what 3 words to say exactly where they wanted that delivery to happen. So whether it's a human delivering your parcel or a machine, it doesn't matter. It's really helpful if you know exactly where that thing should go, whatever it is, ending up at exactly the right place, whether that's a human or a machine driving it. And I think that's my time. So thank you very much.